In The Art of War, Sun Tzu wrote, "Keep your friends close, and the nice guys on business closer." Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner, and on the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler.
You reminded me of the some Saturday Night Live skit when you started to do the introduction. And then you completely...
Live from our basement, it's time for the Nice Guys on Business.
Podcast,
yes, exactly.
What's going on, Strick?
Oh, nothing. I'm excited about our interview today. Ben Stroup.
It's actually Ben Stroup.
Stroup? I've been calling him Stroup, and you just corrected me, and I totally screwed it up. Ben Stroup. I just can't figure out one thing. On his website, which is benstrouprwriter.com, he has a coffee mug, and there's just like glasses and a mustache, which is like kind of a cool look, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't wear glasses or have a mustache.
Well, he talks
Did you ask him about that?
No, I did. I saw his website. He's actually a very cool guy. He talks all about disruptive content marketing. Really, really cool guy. Understands definitely the effective nature of content and how your content could completely make or break you from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, he calls himself a content activist. And basically he says content should disrupt, engage, and inspire others to connect, collaborate, and create change. Man, that is just brilliant. I mean, it's like all right there in one sentence. It really is. It's great.
He is like he's like a craftsman with his words.
I love it. So why don't we get to our sponsor for the day first while you find the promise statement that I'm guessing you don't have in front of you. Interviewvalet.com is our sponsor today. And if you are running a business and you're not getting enough customers, like who is running a business and has enough customers, right? Have you ever thought about being a podcast guest? Interview Valet can not only train you to be a great podcast guest, to be able to talk about your own company effectively, but they can also find you podcasts to get on that are going to be focused, that are going to have an audience that is focused to your business, and they can train you, and then they can help you with social media afterwards and promote it. I mean, it's just... they're amazing.
So you might ask, what is the reason why I would even want to think about being on a podcast to begin with? Mm-hmm. Would that be a question you would ask?
I know the answer, so I personally wouldn't ask that. But if I were thinking about Interview Valet, if I were running my own business and wanted to get more customers, I might ask that question. Yes.
I just got to tell you, in today's day and age, when everybody is so podcast focused, I mean, everybody that listens to this podcast is obviously a fan of podcasting, correct?
Not necessarily. I think that what's great about podcasts in general, overall, is that it is typically a very focused audience. And so anybody that is listening to somebody's podcast, it's not like watching television or radio where you have this huge, wide variety of people. It's a smaller audience, but it is extremely focused. So it's a great opportunity to find a specific customer that could be your customer.
And how would I get in touch with this said podcast valet?
You should go
or interview valet. Sorry,
you should go to our show notes and click on the link for interviewvalet.com. Tell them the Nice Guy sent you. That's what we're all about.
Are you finding that the beginning of this episode is already a train wreck?
Well, I don't know. I thought that ad was pretty good. But before that, yes, we were starting to fall apart, which is exactly why I decided to do our sponsor, because I thought, you know what, maybe this will bring us back a little bit more focused.
Well, excellent. Well, call Tom Schwab at Interview Valet. And if he doesn't pick up the phone, talk to any of his folks over there because they do a great job. And we'll make sure that we put a link in the show notes how to get there. And it's something like interviewvalet.com/nice guys or something like that. We'll make sure we put the link in the show notes.
Click on the show notes.
So Ben Stroup. So should we get to the interview? Because he really is a cool guy, and I think that his information is timely, and the fact that he is a brand, I would call him kind of like a brand evangelist. I mean, he really does understand what content marketing is all about, and he is a guy that really, really puts a lot of weight in what your brand can do for you in terms of make or break you. And so let's get right to the interview with Ben Stroup.
Did you say he's a Brangelina?
No. Hey, they broke up, didn't they?
They're working on it right now. That's what caught my attention. But that's what you just called him, right? A Brangelina?
I think I called him
a brand evangelist. Oh, a little different. Just a little different.
A whole bunch different.
Yeah.
I don't think that he at all looks like who are they?
Yeah, Brad and Angelina.
Yeah. It's like,
I know you're not much of a media kind of guy. Like, you're not all about that, so it's all right. So, we want to get right to the interview then.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Ben.
Oh, thank goodness. I didn't even have to read the promise statement. Nice guy community. Our goal is to provide the most entertaining podcast experience ever, period. Hold us to that standard. If Strickland doesn't do it, he rarely fails you. I know I do a lot, but he rarely fails you. Reach out to either one of us. I'm at DJ Doug, and that guy over there, Strick, he's at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. Okay, we're ready to go. Now.
I thought we were skipping the promise. I hit stop on the record button.
You did?
No, I didn't. I'm lying. I was still recording. I'm always recording. As soon as we start talking, I don't want to lose any good stuff.
All right, let's get to Ben Stroup. Today's guest, Ben Stroup, knows how to get the most not only out of your marketing dollar, but also from the people on your team. His leadership style might appear to be a little bit laid back, but he has a track record of getting the most out of a team and adding value to every dollar that an organization spends. Wow, that is a tough hat to fill. Wow. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business, Ben.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
I did not realize in the chat that we had in the pregame chat that we had here, I didn't realize that you actually listened to the show and then you still agreed to come on the show.
I know. You know, you got to check it out, and you just got to make sure that you're in good company. But I mean, you guys are a little irreverent and definitely on point, and you take really complex subjects and have a little fun with it. So I got to be right in the middle of that.
So I got to ask this before we really get into the interview. Are you downloading us on Overcast or on iTunes?
The big question. Now this is the point in which the interview stops if I don't say.
Oh no. Okay, what happened?
No. I followed your suggestion. How about that? I don't listen to the native iTunes podcast app. It's not my favorite. I'm weird like that. I kind of choose these third-party ones that I like. But I did subscribe to it just so that you guys could get another download in the mix there. But I actually use Pocket Casts to manage all my podcast feeds.
I don't even know what Pocket Cast is. Is that something? I can't go into a third.
Yeah.
I think we have one person that does.
It's one of those weird nerdy things. So if you don't want to go there, I totally get it.
No, and the problem is with me and iTunes is that we just can't figure out how to get that stronghold. And you being a marketing guy, maybe you can help us figure out how to market it to our audience, to our Nice Guy community. That, hey, listen, we're serious. We're tired of getting 3% of our downloads from iTunes. We just don't know how to reach the iTunes community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I think it's hard when we always talk about people changing channels, right? You know, people kind of stick with what they know and they go with it because it's part of their habits. So I think the real challenge for you guys is not just to get your raving fans and evangelists to go over to the iTunes and subscribe so you get those, but how can you get to the people that are already on iTunes?
Yeah, that's
part
true.
of that native stuff.
Well, what we thought, and I know this is totally not down the interview line, but let's shoot the shit about this for a little bit for a moment.
Yeah, let's do it.
What we figured was that if we had some of our people make the move over to iTunes, then what would end up happening is there would be a little bit of a buzz there, because I think the way that the rankings work is the more people that listen, the more I guess space that they give you, not memory space, but they'll give you some foot play on their on their home screen. And we're just trying to get noticed somewhere in there so somebody could say, hey, these guys just don't have 50 listeners, they have 100 listeners, or they have 200. And I think you get some traction when that happens. I don't really know the podcasting game. I swear I don't understand how this works.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like anything else, right? iTunes and podcasts, Apple kind of created the construct that created the disruption, and of course, then these others are out there, and so who knows where it's going to be, right? That it's a moving target, so you could figure out the quote unquote algorithm today, and next month or next year it could be completely different. But yeah, I mean, I think whatever you can do to promote yourself on on whatever channel and the diversity of channels, the better. And
that really does lead, and you help me make the transition. Strick usually helps me make the transition on the show because I have no idea what the heck I'm doing when it comes to trying to make the segue. Okay, well, how do I get out of this subject and into the next one? But you mentioned a couple of things I think are really important. Well, let's start with, tell the Nice Guy community what it is that you do, and then we will end up talking about this disruption that's out there in the marketing world.
Yeah, I tell people that I come alongside high capacity leaders and organizations and help them build publishing systems so that they can accelerate the good work that they're already doing.
All right, so wait, give me that in English, because you lost me about after you said alongside. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah. So what I do is typically I'm working with organizations who are trying to reach for an outcome that's maybe a little bit beyond where they've ever been before, or leaders who are looking to kind of pivot a little bit. Maybe they're trying to become more public, or let's say in a nonprofit context, they're leading out in a major fundraising initiative, or for instance, it could be an entrepreneur who's wanting to look for a lead generation strategy. And so my job is to make that to kind of take the guesswork out of that process. And so I'm typically sitting down with high level people in an organization, sometimes teams, but mostly high level folks, and we're talking their language, outcomes, revenue streams, trends, patterns. And at the same time, I'm looking at triggers and leads and market share and opportunity, and I'm kind of making the connection between those two. And I have this process that I've kind of honed in over time that I call the content matrix. And it really has 3 different anchors that we build out. The first part is the who, not the band, by the way. But
that's good.
The who being
Strick will like that.
But we actually have to. And for me, everyone wants to start with what is it that we want to say and how cool do we want to be based on what channel we want to use. Mm-hmm. I think we have to anchor what we want to do in the needs, questions, problems, and challenges of the people that we want to reach. And as long as we can stay grounded there, we can figure the rest out, and we can pivot based upon the needs of those people. So I really try to get the organization and the leader kind of anchored into what questions are they asking, how can we uniquely help them, so on and so forth. Once we build that part out, then we say, okay, what is it that we need to say to resolve their questions, challenges, and obstacles? It sounds 101, mm-hmm. but you'd be surprised by how enchanted, I think we're all susceptible to this, right? We become enchanted by our own ideas. And we think everyone thinks we're as interesting as we are. And the problem is that nobody cares. They care about their problems, their challenges, their situations. So what is it that we need to say to resolve that? And then how do we need to reach them with that message? And this is the tricky part, because most organizations believe that what I call omnipresence is something that we should achieve. So like if there's a new channel, we should be there. But I look at it and I go, gosh, Wall Street Journal has been marketing itself on a control piece that looked like it came off a typewriter, because in 1970 it did. Mm-hmm. And they've tested against it every year in the last 30 plus years and haven't been able to beat it. Why? Because the people who read Wall Street Journal still open up the mail and they still read that stuff.
Right.
And so, don't try to start a Snapchat channel.
Thank you.
To be able to reach more Wall Street Journal subscribers. It just doesn't fit. So we have to choose the channels that are native. This is kind of my language here, that are native to the consumption habits of the who. And so that's how we build this system. And then once we build the system, then it's a matter of saying which outcome is important and how is it that we need to get there.
I wonder how or how do you determine what channels are most effective if you're just getting underway? Is there some sort of, for example, when I started my speaking business and then started the podcast, it was very challenging for me to understand, okay, where are the people that are potentially in my market? Where am I going to find them? Where am I meeting them so that they'll understand the language? I understand the idea of having to speak the language properly on the channel that you're on, Twitter, 140
right.
characters, Facebook, you got to, tell them where you're going and show them video and all that other fun stuff. But it's very challenging from that perspective. So maybe, can you chat about that for a second?
Yeah. I always go back to what's generating revenue for you. To me, that's the brass tacks where it becomes real, and that's where we move from kind of an awareness strategy to an engagement strategy. Not that awareness is bad, but at the very beginning and at any moment in the game, you got to make money. And so where are you making money? Where are you finding the people that are signing your contracts? And then how can you go and find more of those people? And that's that to me, the more I can understand about the sales cycle and the sales process and how just that particular market segment responds and interacts with vendors and providers, then I can build that to where it really supports the sales cycle. And that's really what happened with this whole thing, this inbound marketing or content marketing. You see the research that, prospects are 67% of the way through the buying process by the time that they actually engage with the brand, right? That doesn't mean the sales process shrunk. It may look like that on Salesforce or in your spreadsheet or reports. It actually means that the prospect is able to do more work without you. It used to be that you sat down with vendors and they told you what all the options were in the market, right? That's how you educated yourself. Now you're like, I don't want to talk to you until I know I need to talk to you. And so that's what's created this. And so that it's still a modeling a buyer's journey in that traditional marketing language. It's just saying, where are those people? And then how are they consuming content? What do we need to say so that we can hook them? And then bring them through our funnel and that journey to the point of some type of human interaction that either leads to a yes/no decision. So where I always start is, one, start with what you know, which is where you're making money today, and then test as you have opportunity.
So you spent a moment in the beginning of your talk talking about on a larger scale. It sounded like you were talking about corporate America or corporate nonprofit or a bigger organization, and then you just brought up the idea of maybe this is a smaller window or a smaller opportunity with entrepreneurs, with solopreneurs, small businesses. Can you help me just to make it make sense for an entrepreneur that's trying to just figure out where they're supposed to spend their time? Because I'm assuming you're talking about just the marketing side of things, which creates potentially a sales funnel for you. So you get people that are coming into the buying stuff from you phase. However, we're all short of time. So and if you're not a creative person, the development of content is very, very challenging. So who is creating all of this content that is going out there? And then not only are you saying create it, but be very creative in your creation of the content. And I also hear this other word from you a couple of times now. It's being disruptive with how you've created this content, which is a whole different stratosphere. How do you do all that?
Yeah, absolutely. All good stuff. So there is where you start depends on like what your appetite is. So there are some individuals that, man, they just want somebody to come in, be the muscle, execute it, get it done. Some people need a system. So if you can just tell them what this looks like on an ongoing basis, and then you have touch points along the way, kind of the coaching process, then they're good with that. And then some people just want to learn, and then they'll take it and do it themselves. And I go back and I think about it, this really isn't about being creative. It's about being talking about the problems, challenges, and questions that your target market is talking about.
And it's almost like doing it consistently too, because I think that so many people, they like put out these 5 pieces of content and they're like, okay, and then they skip a month and then they don't come back to it.
Recency and frequency they're not just what feeds the Google system, but it really what feeds the whole thing in and of itself, is that you kind of have to keep putting gas in the car if you want it to keep going. And so what I typically tell people to do is that write 200 words a day, which is about equivalent of an email or two, right? Not the yes, no, screw you emails. It's the emails that you're legitimately answering a question or responding to something. And if you do that once a day, 5 days a week, give yourself 2 days off, or at least 2 days off of creating content, because we all know when you're starting your own business, there are no days off, right?
Yeah, days
and even though everyone else who's never done it before thinks that you have all this free time.
Oh yeah. I love self-employment. I get to pick which hours I want. I get to pick which 16-hour stretch I'm going to work today.
That's right. That's why I tell people you sell during the day and you work like hell at night, and that's entrepreneurship. So 200 words a day, 5 days a week. That's 1,000 words a week that you've created. Okay, so just walk with me through this matrix, if you will.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, most people can sit down and do that within 15, 20 minutes. Pick a question, and even I've come in to people who want to do this themselves but like this framework, and we'll outline questions for 3 months at a time, and they're just getting up, they're answering those questions, and then you take every 4 weeks, that you have 4,000 words. That's enough for a content download on your website, or even a really short lead gen style ebook, both of which you can utilize on Kindle. So Amazon, which has great reach and discovery. So if you've got your keywords in honed really well. And what I typically recommend is take those 4,000 words and you turn it into a Kindle book that is available online for 99 cents or free, or they can find it on your website if they give you all their information, and they can download it for free, right? So they have to pay for anonymity, or they pay with their information, but either way, they're giving you something. But you can do that if you do this every week. Like I said, you come up with a download 12 times a year, and then every quarter you combine those 4,000 word pieces and come up with a broader thematic piece that is, roughly in the neighborhood. You'll land, even though it's 12,000, if you multiply it times 3, you'll land on something that's about 8 to 10,000 words that has kind of a consistent and a theme, and you can release that again as another ebook.
That's crazy. I never even thought of that.
Times a year, and then 2 times a year you combine that into 20,000 word book, right? That you can now print, because it's long enough that you can print. It's about in a 5.5 by 8.5 trim size. It's about 110 to 120 pages. You can print that, and now you can hand that out to people when you go places.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop for 1 second, because my head just exploded. Hold on. What's crazy about what you're saying, anyone that is creating content right now, you've just created not only a short ebook, but a compilation of a larger ebook, which then can become a printed book, which actually means that anybody that is listening to this, anyone that is in our Nice Guy community that is trying to market products or services to anyone, you're answering your freaking email. You're doing that. You're already providing this information.
Yes.
You just have to collect this information in a basin and have a guy like Ben, or maybe even like yourself. You can do it yourself, Nice Guy community. I mean, this is what Ben does, but you can do this on your own. Is that, sorry, Ben, I didn't mean to sell any deals away from you, but I'm just thinking.
No. I want that. I mean, I think this is, and whether people are engaging me on the coaching side or actually on the writing side, or they want to do it themselves. I think we should all do this. This is the disruption, right? It is making the little guy as capable as the big guy. And the truth is that the little guy has a better chance of doing this consistently, because the big guy, the guys who are making the decisions, the biggest organizations, haven't been in the field selling anything for decades.
Right.
So they still think the world works like it did when they were closing deals. And this is a gap that's really, really key. So in the midst of all of that, here's the other cool thing. You're feeding your social feed, the blog posts, and you're feeding your email, because you're taking the same content and you're putting it in different formats. And so I tell everyone, people think I can't create a content empire. And I'm like, forget that. You could do it 200 words a day. And when I do that, people are just like, holy cow, I've just, and so then it becomes, it's not about knowledge, right? Which knowledge is cheap. It's about, am I willing to do the work necessary to actually make it true? And that's, but it's not about passion, because you don't thrive off passion, right? No one's passionate about making cold calls and getting cussed at and hung up on and yelled at, right? What we're passionate about is closing the deals so that we can have enough money to actually keep doing the thing that we're doing.
Well, I love the direction that this is going in, because although I always thought, man, I am a content creation machine, and I create hundreds of pieces of content a year, but when it comes down to boiling them down into an ebook, which is just one other piece of content, and a free downloadable piece of content, or even a 99 cent. I mean, not that you're going to get rich from the 99 cents. I'm not even getting rich from a $20 book that I have on Amazon right now, but a 99-cent book, it creates another channel that is a good opportunity to meet people that you would never have met before if you weren't on that Amazon channel or Kindle or wherever you are.
That's exactly right. Go where the people are. I mean, that's marketing 101, right? So let that work for you. The other cool thing is that when you're going to meet prospects, what are they going to do? They're going to look you up on Google. And so if they see you on Amazon and they see your blog and they see that they can subscribe to your email, they already know you before they've met you, and they validated that you're not some crazy guy who's going to come in there and just either make shit up or kill them.
Right.
You're actually going to help them. And
wait a minute, hold on. If you're the guy that goes into the office, and not you, Ben, but if one is the guy that goes into the office and you're either making shit up or you're going to kill your prospect, I think you're in the wrong business. You should be in the serial killer business.
Well, I still have this, Tim Ferriss talks about in 4 Hour Workweek, right? The people who walk around the office with a phone talking to no one, but they sound like they are, and everyone thinks that they're busy. I mean, this is where you root this out, right? You no longer can hide anymore. I mean, people are going to find you out. You either are investing in those conversations or you're not. And people you're not trying to win a Pulitzer Prize here. You're trying to close a deal. And how you do that is by solving the problem of the person you're trying to reach. And if they can land on your blog and they can see where you've taken a particular situation or an individual or a circumstance and you've resolved that, they're going to be able to see your thinking. They're going to see the trust. They're going to see the perspective. They're going to see the experience. And it's remarkable what you can communicate in 200 words. And by the way, 200 words is long enough to read driving 90 miles an hour down the interstate. Not that I've ever done that, and not wreck. So it's an appropriate bite-sized channel or a chunk of content.
Well, I remember when I started, and I've told this story many times, probably many times to the Nice Guy community, but I used to write a blog, and the blog literally took me an entire business day to write. So 6 to 8 hours, and it would be this 1,500 word. I mean, I was like in love with every word that went on the page, and I'd edit it and re-edit it, and then, it was great. And it was great in my head. It was not great to my community. And recently, within the last few months, I went to a 400 to 500 word format instead. And I am getting more people read that because people, they don't want these long formats when it comes to, your content. Now they'll love an ebook. And I'll tell you, another channel that has grown probably 150 or so emails on my list just in the last couple of weeks alone is taking the words that I've already put out there and just created a small ebook. I mean, it is practice of what you are saying. It's already there. It's proof. Nice Guy community, you've got to be doing this. If you're not, you're missing out on an opportunity to have more people look at what you have to offer.
Absolutely, and every people are concerned. I get the question. Well, gosh, if I'm taking the same stuff and I'm putting it across different channels, won't people see that it's the same thing? And I tell them two things. I think one, if somebody's paying attention to what you're doing that close, that they're following you on every channel, you either need to be scared or they're a raving fan and they'll continue to consume the same thing over and over again. Two, people have different expectations for different types of channels. So, and they're happy with the stuff that resonates with them to revisit that in another format. And they never see it as somehow duplication unless you're literally copying and pasting, which wouldn't make sense because it would, you're going to evolve it over time.
No, I totally get that. So 5 years or so ago, the idea of content marketing was basically non-existent. I mean, the whole phrase, people didn't even know what content marketing was. What do you think, and I can't put it down the road another 5 years, it would be too hard to determine what it's all about, but what do you think just in like the next 12 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, what do you see that's coming that maybe I'm not looking at?
Yeah, I think the next step in this is artificial intelligence. This is going to blow your mind. It's going to total geek out on you for a minute.
All right, go.
But I really think we're going to have systems like we're having to do research and manually drive how do we choose the channels, and we're having to go pull the information and prioritize who we follow up with and all those kinds of things. And you look at like what Salesforce just released around their Project Einstein type deal, where they're going to actually be able to through their software with enough data, they're going to be able to tell you who you should call next and what you should tell them. And I think now, not that we're going to be in this world where we're going to stop thinking, but I think what that does, again, all of this makes the little guy as capable or more capable than the big guy, because we're scrappy, right? We've got to figure out how can we do this without, one, being a disruption, but two, whatever we invest in has to have some type of return on investment. And what I love about this is it's making it easier and easier and easier for us to make sure that the time that we're spending, reaching out, trying to grow our business we're actually talking to the right people at the right time about the right things. And some of us just get lucky. Right?
Yeah.
We do it enough, we get lucky. But I really think in the next 5 years, I think we're going to see the role of artificial intelligence. I mean, it's already starting to come in, right? On iOS 10 and the new version of Android and that, they're able to tell you based upon where you are and what time of day you're probably looking for lunch. So would you like some lunch suggestions, right? That's a very elementary. And the next thing they're going to know, hey, you're at this level in your business, you really need to expand in this particular market. Here are 5 people that have already been ranked, and all the cues are telling you that they've got something significant to say. So think about what that does from a business discovery standpoint.
What really freaks me out is when I get in my car after I have been at lunch or I've been somewhere. When I turn on my car, it says traffic to home is 27 minutes. I'm like, how does it even know I'm going to my house?
Yes.
How does it know that? I have no idea.
Absolutely. And at the same time, like, there's part of you that's like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. And then there's other part of you that's like, hell yeah, I need that. I mean, that's like having a personal assistant that you don't have to pay for.
I love it. And I do love the idea of something or someone telling me. If someone were to say to me on a daily basis, and not that I want anyone to control my schedule, but when you look at your calendar, you're basically controlled by your schedule anyway. But I love the idea of when you open up your computer, turn on your computer for the day, for it to say, here are the 5 people that you need to call based upon what you are doing right now through email, through your text messaging. That to me would make my job. I just need to be told what to do.
Don't we all?
I
mean,
know.
like, that's yeah, of course. I mean, that's what's so amazing. And so what's important in all of this is one, the tools are always changing, right? So don't get married to a channel. Don't get married to the technology. Just utilize it for the period of time in which but if you can develop the right process and feed those channels as that technology improves and comes along, you'll actually have enough data to make to drive those decisions to get the outcomes that you want. And I just think it's wide open. And this is where the disruption comes in, is that, the rules of the game have changed, period. It's just not everybody's realized that yet. I remember, when 9/11 happened and then Enron went away and these were epic, empires, Arthur Andersen, all of that. These were empires that were immovable objects. Like, there was never, in somebody's mind that those organizations would be there. I mean, my brother had a chance to work for one of those organizations, obviously before they disappeared. And it was like, his peer group told him that, this is like a lifetime opportunity. You work for them, they'll take care of you, you retire and you'll be fine. Right. And then all that implodes.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
Yeah, exactly. And then 2008 comes along, and like, I have friends who are worth multi-million dollars on paper and their business disappears in a week.
I got to tell you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, we're in the middle of disruption, and you're at some point along the awareness process. Either you're in denial or you're fully engaged with it.
Did we even talk about what you do, Ben?
So actually, I think that's where we started with this whole idea of really kind of helping people accelerate, toward whatever outcomes that they want. And so I kind of live in the balance of two worlds, marketing and publishing. Marketers are great at outcome-driven, revenue-driven goals. But process and systems, particularly around publishing content, probably aren't their strong suits. And then you got people on the publishing side that love process and ideas, but they don't know how to drive those towards sales. And so I kind of lived in those parallel worlds for almost a decade. And then I realized that there was this thing happening called inbound marketing, which we didn't even have that language in 2008, 2009. Yeah. And those paths crossed. And so I kind of tapped out at the big company I was with, and was killing it on everything that I was given to do, and utilizing these types of things and just felt it was a dead end. And so I thought 2008, 2009 was a perfect time to start a business, right?
Oh, perfect.
And, that's what everybody told me, is like, what are you doing? But I kind of, when you jump, you're either lucky or stupid. And I just happened to be lucky, and I was right at the front end of all of that, trying to figure this out. And so what happened is I started working with individuals, so leaders who were trying to write books and other pieces of content to be platformed for either major corporate initiatives or entrepreneurs who are trying to launch their stuff out there and using it as a business card, fundraising campaigns and that. And then those people walked me down to their marketing department and said, "This is what we've been talking about. You guys need to figure this out." Yeah. And they didn't feel like I was on their turf, because I wasn't leaning into the branding conversation. I wasn't leaning into the, how to design a website conversation. But and they had no idea how to do what I was doing. And so for the first time, I kind of, started to take what I was doing from a book side and expand it out to a real sales support system. And that sales support system it was like a rocket, man. It was like I was just trying to hang on. It was moving so fast, and we were seeing just crazy results. And so that's, you just kind of roll with it. And it's been a fantastic journey. It really has.
Hey, Ben, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what can they do, or how can they do that? And how do we know what your ideal client or your ideal customer really is for you?
Yeah, so this is the way that I describe my ideal client. It's somebody who feels the tension of their current situation. They're anchored in where they are, and they have an angst about where they want to be, and they've tried everything that they normally would do, and it's either producing diminishing results or no results. And they want to try something different. That's the moment in time when people are open to trying something that feels a little bit out of the ordinary.
I get it. I'm in. So where do I sign?
Yeah. So go benstrouprider.com is a great place. And I try to connect you on that immediate page with resources and case studies, so you can kind of read about what this has looked like in different styles of institutions. And then as you click through, you can see some of the different projects. Obviously, because of what I do and some of the people I work with, I can't talk publicly, so not everything is on the website, but I think there's enough there to substantiate that, I've got a pretty refined process now that has worked in enough places and enough spaces that it gives people confidence in wanting to work with me.
Very, very cool website. Also, a lot of pictures. So it's good. It's good that from a picture perspective for guys that don't like to read a lot. It's right there. It's very cool. Do you have time for a personal question or two?
Yeah, please do.
All right, excellent. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
I have an iPhone.
Okay, great. Do you have it anywhere near you?
I do.
Okay, great. Can you take it out and tell me what the last picture you took was?
The last picture I took. Oh man, let's see here. It is my wife trying on some high heels.
Oh well, can you share that with us? All right. And the last, what color are the heels?
Black.
Excellent. Did she have her little black dress on also?
She had some cropped jeans on.
Excellent. Strickland will like that, so we'll have to forward that over to Strickland. He likes those kind of pictures. And what was the last text message you sent and received?
The last text message. All right. Let's see here. I received a text message about an agreement, and somebody told me that they hadn't checked their email. So that was the last text message.
So typical. Isn't it typical? Sorry, I haven't had a chance to check that proposal yet. It's not there.
That's right.
Man,
Living the
Totally loved having you as a guest, Ben. That your information. I mean, I can tell when it's a good interview when I get really sweaty. I am totally all sweaty right now.
Nice.
You're a guy that's.
I'll take that as a compliment. That
yes.
You didn't get sweaty over me. You got sweaty over the conversation.
Very passionate about what you have, and that is so great. I know that you're excited about it, and it's something that. I don't know, and again, we don't have to get into the full meat of the interview here because I don't want to go right back to there now. We're already late on our time, I think, but it's amazing. I don't know of anyone else that's out there that really provides what you. I mean, there are content marketing companies, but you're so much more than that.
Well, we all like to think we're one of a kind. I like to. I feel like. One of the things that makes me unique is that I've sat on both sides of the table, both right. as the creative and as the executive. And so I can bridge the gap of those two worlds. And typically you're either dealing with one or the other. When you're pitching companies or pitching entrepreneurs, you're either a marketer who's trying to talk the marketing language, or you're a creative trying to talk the marketing language. And sometimes it feels like two ships passing in the night. And so I think my ability to tie kind of what I'm doing and what my recommendations are to the business outcomes and the revenue streams is one unique approach that I don't think everyone is doing. I'm not willing to say I'm the only one doing it, but it's definitely a little bit different approach than what most people do.
Well, you certainly are passionate about it, and you provided some great information, and it is major food for thought for sure. So thank you so much, Ben Stroup, for being a part of our Nice Guy community. Thank you for listening to the show. That's always a great honor to have a guest of ours that comes on the show that actually still listens to the show and still wants to come on the show.
Man, I look forward to it every single time. And now that you guys are 5 days a week, I listen to it every morning on my run.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben.
Yeah.
Steve O'Brien, well, before I let you take it out of here, Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Ben for being a part of the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Call 4242 DJ Doug and record an intro for the show to hear on a future episode. Say anything you want. Hell, take my job. I'm getting sick of these guys anyway. We still rolling? Don't tell him I said that.